Nick Vujicic, Life Without Limits. Nick Vujicic was born in 1982 in Melbourne, Australia, with a rare condition called tetraamelia syndrome. He had no arms and no legs. As a child, he often asked, "Why me?" The bullying at school was relentless. At just 8 years old, he even considered ending his life, believing he had no future. But everything changed when Nick realized he could either be bitter or be better. Slowly, he learned to do things people thought were impossible, typing with his toes, brushing his teeth, even swimming and surfing. He turned his struggles into his strength. Today, Nick travels the world, giving motivational talks to millions. He is married, has 4 children, and lives life fuller than many who have all their limbs. His story is living proof that you don't need arms and legs to live a life of purpose. You need faith and determination. Oprah Winfrey, From Poverty to Power. Oprah was born into poverty in rural Mississippi in 1954. Her childhood was filled with hardship, abuse, instability, and constant struggle. She wore potato sacks as dresses because her family couldn't afford proper clothing. Teachers dismissed her, and society didn't expect much from a poor black girl in America at the time. But Oprah had one gift: her voice. She found refuge in books, education, and speaking. With sheer determination, she built her way up from a local radio job to hosting her own talk show. By the 1990s, she was one of the most influential women on earth. Today, she is not only a billionaire, but also a symbol of resilience, compassion, and leadership. Oprah's journey tells us, your past does not define your future. Your choices do. Stephen Hawking, A Mind Beyond Limits. At the age of 21, Stephen Hawking was studying at Cambridge when he was diagnosed with ALS. Doctors gave him only 2 years to live. Soon, his muscles failed him, his voice faded, and he became bound to a wheelchair. Most would have surrendered to despair, but Hawking had a fire inside his mind that disease could not touch. Using only a computerized voice, he wrote books, gave lectures, and reshaped our understanding of the universe. A Brief History of Time sold millions worldwide. He became a global icon, showing that intelligence and determination can transcend physical barriers. Hawking lived more than 50 years beyond his diagnosis, proving that the human spirit is stronger than any limitation. Bethany Hamilton, The Soul Surfer. In 2003, 13-year-old Bethany Hamilton was surfing in Hawaii when a 14-foot tiger shark attacked her. In seconds, she lost her left arm. Most people thought her dream of being a professional surfer was over. But Bethany refused to let tragedy define her. Less than a month later, she was back in the water. With practice, courage, and sheer willpower, she learned how to surf with just one arm. She not only returned to competition, but also became a champion. Her story became a best-selling book and a Hollywood film, Soul Surfer. Bethany's courage inspires millions, teaching us that faith and resilience can turn any loss into victory. Nelson Mandela. Prisoner to President Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in a tiny prison cell on Robben Island for fighting against apartheid. Each day was filled with hard labor, poor food, and injustice. Many thought he would die forgotten behind bars. But Mandela used those years not to grow bitter, but to grow wiser. He studied, reflected, and prepared for leadership. When he was finally freed in 1990, the world expected revenge. Instead, Mandela chose reconciliation. 4 years later, he became South Africa's first black president, ending centuries of racial segregation. His life reminds us that true leadership is about forgiveness, unity, and vision. J.K. Rowling, Magic Born from Struggle. Before Harry Potter became a household name, J.K. Rowling was a struggling single mother in Edinburgh, living on welfare. She wrote in cafes with her baby daughter asleep next to her. Publishers rejected her manuscript over and over again. Some even laughed at the idea of a children's book about wizards. But she didn't quit. Finally, one publisher took a chance, printing just 500 copies. Within years, Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, making Rowling one of the most successful authors in history. Her story is proof that when the world says no, persistence turns it into a resounding yes. Malala Yousafzai, the girl who stood up in Pakistan's Swat Valley. Malala Yousafzai loved going to school, but extremists wanted to silence girls' education. At just 15, Malala wrote blogs and spoke out publicly, demanding the right for girls to learn. Her courage made her a target. In 2012, she was shot in the head on her school bus by the Taliban. Miraculously, she survived. Instead of being silenced, her voice grew louder. She became a global advocate, co-authored a best-selling memoir, and in 2014 became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner at only 17. Malala's life shows that education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. Thomas Edison. The power of persistence. Thomas Edison was told he was too stupid to learn. He was fired from multiple jobs and failed over 1,000 times while trying to create the light bulb. When asked about his failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset changed history. His invention lit up the world, bringing electricity into homes, schools, and businesses. Edison's story proves that success is not about talent alone. It's about persistence, grit, and refusing to quit. Colonel Sanders. Success after 60. At 65, Colonel Harlan Sanders was broke, living off a small pension check. He could have given up, but he believed in one thing, his fried chicken recipe. With a white suit and black tie, he drove across America, knocking on doors of restaurants. Over 1,000 times, he was told no. Finally, one restaurant agreed, and the rest is history. Kentucky Fried Chicken became a global brand, and Colonel Sanders became a symbol of late-blooming success. His life teaches us that it's never too late to start chasing your dreams. Elon Musk, betting it all in the early 2000s. Elon Musk had money from selling PayPal. But instead of retiring, he invested nearly everything into Tesla and SpaceX. Both companies were on the verge of collapse. Tesla struggled to build cars, and SpaceX rockets kept failing. At one point, he had to borrow money to pay rent, but he didn't give up. In 2008, when everything seemed lost, SpaceX successfully launched its first rocket into orbit, and NASA signed a contract. Tesla survived and went on to redefine the auto industry. Today, Musk is shaping the future with electric cars, reusable rockets, and ambitious plans for Mars. His story shows that true visionaries risk it all for their dreams.